Okay, now this is what I want, more or less what I want people to see on their phones when they're watching this video. The problem is that a lot of it is not in the actual shot because it's too big for this format. So I'm going to select motion, pick select the clip here. I'm going to go to motion. That way I can move it around and I can see what the boundaries are here. I'm going to bring that down to match that format. There you go. That's about 55.8. Now, the problem is the background. There's a couple of things that I want to do to fill in the background. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select this video. I'm going to put my left hand on the Alt button on my keyboard, and I'm going to drag that forward a couple of times. Okay? Now, obviously, you guys can't see any difference, but here on the track, I have a duplicate of that clip. And I'm going to do something, and check it out. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that background, which is the first clip right here. The top one is the one that's closest to the viewer. So I'm going to select the first track on the bottom. Okay. Now over here, sometimes this gets lost, and you can hit these arrow buttons right here and select Effect Controls. Now when you do that and you pick the clip, it's going to go back to the motion, the scale, those parameters. I'm going to select motion, and now I'm going to scale it back up. Now you can see that in the background, it's beginning to fill that screen. So I've got basically the same video scaled up in the background. Now, why am I doing this? Well, basically, I'm going to use that as a background. But to give it some contrast, I'm going to look for the blur effect. So I'm going to go to my effects windows. If you don't have that open, go to Windows and make sure that you activate effects. Okay, once you do that, this window is going to pop up. You're going to type into the search box blur. I like to go with this type of blur, the Gaussian blur. I'm going to drag that to that first track right there. Now on the left in the effects controls, I'm going to select Gaussian blur, and now I can actually blur out the background. Let's go to another shot so you can appreciate that a little bit more. Yeah, let's go to this. I guess this shot would work. All right. So you guys are seeing what's happening there. You know, this could easily work, but I'm really trying to be consistent with the branding of this company. Nature Pest uses green. I've already created a solid green background. You can do that by going to File, New, Color Matte, and just follow through here. Pick the color. If you have access to the hex codes for your brand's colors, you can use that. You create a solid background that's going to appear down here in your project. You can name it whatever color it is, including the hex value if that needs to be used for other elements. I have mine already created. So that empty space that I left here, I'm going to drag and drop this green right into that empty space, and I'm going to stretch it all along this video. There you go. Now, the background video has sort of disappeared, but that's not a problem because I'm going to select the green and I'm going to change the blend mode on that. So let's do that. Let's select the green. We're going to go to opacity. Right below opacity, you have a blend mode. You're going to drop that. I'm going to go with multiply. There you go. And you can play around with that to see what blend works best with your colors. Okay, so basically I've created a background there that works nicely with the main video. The focal point, of course, is going to be what you're looking at in the middle. The background fills in nicely. It's not too distracting. And I'm going to use that actually for branding considerations. So basically, I'm going to click right here in my project. I know that I have a logo for this company for Nature Pest, and I called it the One. I happen to know that whatever your title for it is, you can go into project and search through your assets by writing in the name of the title, or just do it old school and just take a look at what you have in your project window. All right, I have mine already set up. I'm going to drag it onto a new track, stretch it along the entirety of the video. You can see it there. Obviously, I don't want it there, so I'm going to select it here, click it, and make sure that I click it, and I'm going to come up to motion. You should start seeing a pattern here. Motion is crucial here to be able to navigate through your assets and through your tracks. Motion will let me play around with this. I could do that manually, but at least I know that I have the way I use it. Motion basically just lets me know that I've selected the right track, because if I pick the wrong one, I hit motion, it's going to highlight the track that that is active. At this point, I only want the logo to be active, so I hit motion and I make sure that I'm on the right track. Is this it? Yes. Control Z. Control Z will revert that last, or undo that last move. So I know that this is the logo. I'm going to go here where it says position, and I'm going to play with this. I'm going to bring that up, and there you go. I'll place that around there. All right, so I've got my logo set up now.
Feces. American roach feces. You're going to confuse it for mice.
All right, let me save that. Control S. Okay, so now the topic that we're discussing, I want to add that as a title. How are we going to do this? Well, basically, we're going to go to File. I still work pretty old school, so I'm going to go to File, New, and we're going to go with a legacy title. And we'll name this Nature Pest Topic, because that's what I'm going to be adding in there, a topic. So that's already set up on the track, as you can see. And I'm going to go with the area type tool, because that lets me resize the actual area, the box, not the fonts. The fonts I can work on separately, but I need the box to be a certain size. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to click and drag. Here we go. The topic is already on the clipboard. I already cut and paste that from the description. So I'm going to hit Control V. Okay. And there we go. The topic is in there. Those fonts look pretty nasty. That's left over from something else. So no worries there. We're going to go with this font. It could be any font that you choose, of course. But for this one in particular, I'm going with the font that is right there. Okay, so there we go. I can make the box a little bit bigger. And here on the properties, the legacy title properties, I can actually pick, the font size. And we're going mobile. So that's what I need to make sure that these fonts are visible. And I would say optimized for a mobile viewer. Check it out. Select off screen. That's pretty much what we need. And of course, I can always stretch it a little bit more or just leave it the way it is. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. That's it. Close that. Okay. So it's not here on the track yet. We're going to go and look for it. I'm going to write nature pest. And now you can see that there is a topic. There's two actually. It's probably one is left over. Yeah, that's the right one, I think. Yes. So I'm going to drag and drop that to an empty track. And yeah, I'm going to wait for my cursor to change to that arrow pointing right. That's going to let me drag that all along the video to the end. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here is the evidence
There you go.
that we're looking for. And
Okay, and that looks all right.